You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Of course, you have all this conversation dealing with critical race theory. 1619 Project, folks, is not critical race theory. And one of the folks who has spoken out, we talked about this last Friday, was a black woman from Florida talking to the State Board of Education about critical race theory not teaching the truth. Quisha King is political consultant and co-chair of Moms for Liberty, and she joins us right now. Quisha, glad to have you in Roland Martin Unfiltered. First and foremost, what exactly is critical race theory, and is it where was it being taught in Florida schools?
So critical race theory is the idea that America, the foundation of America is, racism is ingrained into the foundation and it cannot be removed. And so the outworkings of that today and in classrooms is that, this is a very simple way to say it, but white, heterosexual men, able-bodied are deemed the oppressors, and everyone else is deemed oppressed. And you can't get away from that. It is what it is because of the idea that racism is ingrained into the fabric of America, that you can't repent from it, you can't move forward from it, and it's there to stay.
Actually, what you just said is not true. So this is what the folks at Ed Week have laid out. Critical race theory is an academic concept that is more than 40 years old. The core idea is that racism is a social construct. Is that true or false? Is racism a social construct?
I do believe that, yes. Racism is a social construct.
All right. And it says that it is not merely the product of individual bias or prejudice, but also something embedded in legal systems and policies. Do you believe that racism is embedded in legal systems and policies in the United States?
I do not.
Do you believe that racism is embedded in housing policies in the United States?
No, because people run these systems. And so we would have to say that racism is embedded into people if we are going to say it's embedded into these systems.
Well,
abstract. They are actually run by human beings.
But if the individuals are actually running the system and then it's being implemented, then it's still in the system. So, for instance, when you talk about housing in your state of Florida, there have been stories where African Americans, there was one woman who was married to a white gentleman where an appraiser came out to their home and gave them a far less value on their home when they removed all of everything in their house that identified as black, then a second appraiser came out, there was a higher valuation on their home. Is that racism?
I'm not sure, but I mean, I certainly know that racism exists.
But hold on, you're not sure. You're not sure that if an appraiser comes out and gives a lower home appraisal, and after meeting the black woman, the black wife, but then when they brought a second appraiser out, the black wife was nowhere to be found. They removed all pictures of her in the home. They removed anything, black art or whatever. Then all of a sudden there was a higher appraisal value. Same house, exact same house, but all of a sudden it's got a higher appraisal value. Is that not racism in housing?
For me, I would have to have more information. That doesn't necessarily mean that it could be racism.
Well, what do you think it is? What do you think it is?
I don't know, but I wasn't there. I would have, for me, I would have to have more information.
So let me ask you this question: Do you believe that systematic redlining of communities where black people live, is that racism?
Redlining?
Yes.
Yes, that was racism.
Isn't that systematic? Because that was a system that was actually imposed by banks. It was imposed by the federal government. It was actually a part of federal policy. Is that not racism?
That was the law at a point in time. However, today, in 2021, where we have many more diverse people that run these corporations, we have much more of a diverse. My bottom line is America has progressed. We are not the same country that we were.
Of course not. But we're
centuries ago.
But
that doesn't mean that when we see disparities, it automatically is an implication of racism.
So let me ask you this question.
It's not always the case.
Okay, so if you're seeing disparities, in terms of in this country, if you're seeing disparities in terms of African Americans, whether in executive suites, if you're seeing that, if you're seeing the same thing in other areas, what would you attest to? If you all of a sudden you look at Silicon Valley, if you see in companies on the West Coast, and you see 1.5% or even fewer black folks working at those companies, what do you say is the problem?
I would say that we should encourage our community to get more involved with STEM, math, science.
But
we don't need to be teaching that we're permanently in a state of oppression.
But Quisha,
we need to be teaching math.
But Quisha, do you even know that 60% or more of the jobs in Silicon Valley have nothing to do with STEM?
Regardless, I mean, they're not.
No.
Doesn't necessarily mean that they're all white either, because a lot of these people are from India. A lot of them are Asian, so they're not. It's not that they're just white people running these things. I mean, there are other
so that's not problematic
that have dominance in those industries as well. And I just believe that we should be afforded those same opportunities.
But right there,
to progress into those industries.
But right there, you said we should be afforded those opportunities. There have been African Americans who have worked at companies like Google and Facebook who were there on the recruitment side, who have said that those companies refuse to hire and recruit from HBCUs, refuse to have programs. And so black folks who worked in those companies, who were advocates, who said that what you just described, we should have an opportunity, what they say is opportunity was not given. They wouldn't even, and in fact, what they would even do is they would even have a sliding scale, would go, oh, because they didn't come from Stanford or Harvard, yeah, that's not going to work. So when you say the opportunity, but isn't that also racist when you don't even want to recruit from HBCUs, when you look at an HBCU education as less than, when you're not providing those level of opportunities, when your remark, well, they don't fit into our culture. What do you ascribe that then?
I mean, these are individual circumstances. I'm not going to blanket the entire black community as being less than because.
I'm sorry, I didn't say less than, but that's them.
Telling me that they didn't, because I know plenty of success. I'm looking at you. You're a very successful black man.
Well, guess what?
Plenty of very successful. But
hold up.
I'm not saying that is without struggle. I'm not saying that is without competition.
No.
That is without any of those things.
But you left out racism.
I don't believe that racism is our primary problem in America today.
No, but that's not what I said. That's not what I said. What I'm saying is, but you did leave out racism. See, because what you don't know is that when I was an intern at the TV station in Bryan College Station, Texas, when a weekend sports anchor job came open at KBTX, the sports director, the assistant sports director, the 5 p.m. producer, the 6 p.m. producer, the 10 p.m. producer, they were like, yo, Roland's the best one for the job. The white male news director made it clear he was not going to hire a black male. His dear friend, investigative reporter Alice Brown, took me on a walk and said, he's not going to hire you. Now, did that somehow stop me? No, but here's what I will say. Did that actually have an impact? First of all, it impacted me economically because I did not get that particular job while I was in college. But here's the whole point. Why should racism prevent me from being able to get a job? Yeah, the guy's name was Jeff Braun. I still call his name out. And it was undeniable. I'm talking about, like, it wasn't even close in terms of who was best. And so that was an example that I personally experienced in terms of racism in my career as a student at Texas A&M. And what I'm saying to you is that exists. I have been in media since I was 13 years old. Racism exists in media. I have seen editors choose not to hire folks based upon race. So to act like it doesn't exist, when you look at the numbers, it's undeniable in media when white men dominate the C-suite and very few of us are able to get through the ladder. It's real, but to you say those are individuals.
Mr. Martin, one of the very first things I said was that racism exists. So I never said that racism does not exist.
No, but you said not in system.
As long as we're on this side of heaven, there will always be racism. There will always be murder. There will always be horrible, awful things. And what I am saying is that we are the most successful black people, Black Americans are the most successful black people in the entire world. And so what I am saying is that it is insulting for us to be in the most successful country in the world, the most progressive people in the world, for people to tell us that we are in a perpetual state of oppression is an insult. I am not telling my child that they are limited by their skin color. I will never tell my children or myself.
Is that what critical race theory does?
Is a burden to me.
Is that what critical race theory does? Because again, you spoke at the Florida State Board of
Critical race theory is the idea that racism is ingrained into the nation, in all the institutions, and there is in all the organizations, and there is no way to remove it. And how it's outworking in today and in the classrooms is that white people are deemed the oppressor, which means that they just have this superiority.
I'm sorry. Where is that? Where in Florida?
And we're just automatically oppressed.
Where in Florida is critical race theory being taught? Where?
In my daughter's school, which I heard her teacher teaching. They don't have a critical race theory book.
So hold on. One second. Hold on. One second.
Open up your critical race
no, hold on. One second. Okay.
They're not saying.
No, one second. You said you heard your daughter's teacher teach critical race theory. Critical race theory is not being taught critical race theory is being taught on the college level. So what are you associating as critical race theory? Because, for instance, there are a lot of people like, Senator Tom Cotton and others. They think the 1619 Project is critical race theory. It's not. Do you believe the 1619 Project is critical race theory?
If you are teaching that racism is ingrained into the system of America, that is the basis of critical race theory.
No, it's not. No, you're wrong.
If you read Derek Bell, if you read Kimberly Crenshaw with the intersectionality, if you study what they write, that is what they are teaching.
Hold on.
Idea from critical theory, from legal theory. This is not new. This started in Germany.
It's a legal theory.
Yes, it is a theory. We teach evolution theory. Theories are taught in school. No. But this particular legal theory is not being taught in the curriculum in Florida. Where? Mr. Martin, I heard a recording from my daughter's classroom where her teacher was teaching the theories of critical race theory. I heard this for myself. With her first week in school, she was asked what pronoun she wants to be identified as. She never...
That's not critical race theory.
Hold on one second. That is what I never said that was critical race theory. But the idea that was being presented to her is what made my alarm go off. And so I started to tell her about some different things, because I've been studying this for over a year now. I'm not new. This is not a new concept to me. And because I understood how it starts to come into conversations and things like that, I knew what to look out for. And she on her own recorded this conversation, because I've been teaching my children of what to look out for. And so, yes, it is not an official curriculum, but it is being weaved into official curriculum, which is exactly what I heard her language arts teacher teach on that day. And in Duval County, in Jacksonville, we had a segregated assembly that was put on by a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant, where she was going to segregate the black children from the white children.
Why?
I am sorry.
Hold on, wait.
I don't care why.
Hold on, wait. Why? No, what was it? No, I'm asking. No, one second. Keisha, 1 second. You said a diversity consultant was doing this. I'm asking the question, why? What was she trying to teach? What's the why?
When someone is segregating people by, what about the biracial children? Where do they go?
I'm asking, no. You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. Why? What was the exercise? What was the exercise?
They never said why she did it. They said this is what's being done.
No. Did you ask why?
There is no reason.
No. Did you ask why?
There is no reason to segregate people by race.
So hold on one second. Have they ever?
We are not even. I'm 20% European. You probably have whites in your family.
First of all, white folks in slavery slept with a whole bunch of slaves, so we already know how that goes. But I'm still trying to get back to, because again, you're not answering the question, because I still would like to know. Okay, when they did this assembly, what was the basis? What was it? Did you ask?
There was no explanation. Emails went unanswered.
No. Did you ask?
Explanation. When parents, black, white, and others, heard about the segregation of their children by color, that was a problem, regardless of the reason.
Did you ask? Now, can you answer my question? Did you ask?
A good reason to segregate kids by color.
Okay, Quisha, if there was an assembly and they separated boys and girls, would you be objecting?
No, it depends on.
Wait, hold up. So you're objecting, and you didn't ask why. You're objecting if there was an assembly separated by race, but you have no questions if it was gender. Why?
Because there are distinct differences between girls and boys.
Well, wait a minute. Hold up. Are there distinct differences?
And a white boy. What is the distinction between a black girl and a white girl? What is the distinction between a biracial girl and another biracial girl?
I'm still trying to understand. I'm still trying to. Have you ever heard of the
distinct differences? Our brains are even made up differently. Unless you think you agree with some of these.
It's interesting.
People are intrinsically different, are lower, are somehow different than other people. I cannot understand how you could think that there would be any good reason to segregate people by race.
I find it interesting that you would not. I find it interesting.
Why would we segregate people by race?
I find it interesting that you would object. I find it interesting that you would say, oh, no, I wouldn't object to an assembly that was girls and boys, but you objected one based upon race. And you still haven't answered my question. Why? What was the purpose of this of them separating? What was it?
I don't know the reason. I don't have to know the reason.
No. Did you ask?
There is no reason.
Did you ask? So wait a minute. Okay, see, now I'm confused because you wouldn't ask why a separate assembly for boys and girls, but now you. But you said I would have to ask if it was about race. That makes no sense.
I think it's very obvious, and boys and girls are different. And there are legitimate things that boys experience at certain ages and legitimate things that girls experience at certain ages. So maybe, yes, there would be a reason to, biological reasons why you would want to, segregate the children by gender. That makes sense. But to segregate people by race, what is the difference other than more or less melanin? There's no intellectual difference. There is no. What is the difference between black children, white children, Asian children, Hispanic children, and all different types of people? What's the difference that skin color has to do with your ability to learn, with your ability to reason, with your ability to do anything in society? Would be a good reason to separate people by the color of their skin?
Well,
this is what we did back in the 1800s. I don't think we want to go back there. I certainly don't. And I would try to tell my kids that any person is better than them based on skin color. And I can't believe that you would even think that that is something acceptable.
Well, first of all, because see, first of all, I use my brain. And what I do is my first response is oh my God, this is no. I would then go, the first I would say is, why? What's the basis behind it? Now, are you speaking about what was taking place at Douglas Anderson? Is that the school?
Correct, at Douglas Anderson.
So, so this took place at their School of Arts. And so what the school stated is that there were cultural issues that have arisen at the particular school. And the email states that one meeting will be for students of color, and the other will be for white students. It also reads about working together, we can all create the best DA. And so what they laid out in here was that this is, quote, over the last year, there's been tons of attention that has been drawn to the racial divide and tension at Douglas Anderson, and there were efforts made to try and pull things together, mend wounds, and improve relationships. But when I saw the memo, I couldn't believe it was like we took a step back. This is from LaToya Gunn. Now, her daughter has said that she's heard other students, white students, use the N-word. And so if they were trying to sit here and so are there racial tensions at the school? Have you talked to other black parents and white parents?
Yeah, I talked to many black parents. My daughter went to the junior high that would be before she goes to.
Are there racial tensions there?
I've never heard of any racial tensions before this particular incident. And even still, even if there were racial incidents,
I'm asking.
Why would you segregate the children by race?
Well, actually, it doesn't, Quisha. So, Quisha, because let me Mr. Roland, allow me as somebody who has dealt with some of these similar issues. It's very similar when in the workplace, where in an environment where a certain group, women, Latinos, African Americans, others, who might feel as if there are fundamental problems going on. You may have a group of black employees that meet with leadership, who meet with the boss. That actually happens. We did that when I was at CNN, where these things happen. In fact, Fox News, in June of last year, a group of black employees actually came together and held a meeting with the executive leadership of Fox News to complain about racism and other issues at Fox News. There was a discrimination suit that was actually filed by black employees at Fox News. So what you're actually describing, those meetings actually do happen, because what it does is it allows for leadership to actually hear from an aggrieved group to understand what is going on. So what you're saying is you didn't hear of any racism, but according to the stories that are done, other black parents have talked about racial tension at this particular school. So if that's the case, do you believe that if there's racial tension in a place, that a group of black students should be able to gather to express their feelings directly to the leadership of the school? Should that happen?
If the individuals affected, black, white, other, whatever you are, if you want to
I asked you a specific question.
If you want to if you want to take that grievance to the leadership of an organization, a school, wherever it may be, by all means, go ahead. But to take the entire organization and say, even if you had nothing to do with it, even if you're not experiencing the same thing, and just say, we're going to separate the black folks over here and put the white folks over there, how is that?
Actually, first of all,
racial tension.
Well, first of all, according to the school memo, it was white students and people of color. So people of color includes more than black people. But I'm going to go back to ask you the other question. If there was an issue where girls at this school had a fundamental issue, would you have a problem if the girls met separately from the boys?
I would say it again. If those girls, the specific girls who had a problem, I don't think you should round up every girl just because some girls
but that's totally different what you said earlier.
Some girls are not experiencing, that's exactly what I said. You should take the individuals that it was affecting and let them go to leadership. Take the individual girls, boys, whoever. Let them go to leadership. Why are we rounding up everybody as if we all think the same and we don't have any type of autonomy or self?
Well, hold on. But earlier you said you have no problem with a separate girls' assembly, separate boys' assembly. You said out your own mouth, oh, there are differences.
Mr. Martin, these are two totally different questions that
No. You literally said. You objected.
Did I think that girls and boys should be segregated at any point in time? And I said, yeah, okay, I can see where girls and boys could be separated. If you're talking, you may want to talk about getting your cycle. Boys don't experience that. Or, boys going through different things that they go through biologically. I can understand a grouping of
so you can
that happens to every girl.
So you can understand that, but you can't understand a group of white students, a group of people of color, and talking about the issues they may be facing. And here's the deal: if you're Black or Latino and you go to the meetings of people of color, you can stand up and actually say, "Hey, I've had no issues, no problems here at the school. It's been great and wonderful." What's the problem?
I'm just saying that why do you have to drag everybody in? If it's a specific issue to those people who experience that issue, why can't we let them sort it out? Why are we trying to make this like that every person who identifies within that group or maybe associated within that group, that they automatically have the same issue?
Because probably if you've had such a widespread issue, you cast a wide net. Wait. But then again, you still had no problem with the group meeting. I'm still going to go back to this here because this is still very interesting. You talk about critical race theory and what we're seeing across this country. We're seeing folks just lump everything in together. Any conversation, so anything dealing with race. And that to me is what the folly is. The reality is in Florida schools, just like in Texas, in Oklahoma, and Arkansas, critical race theory was not being taught. It was not in the curriculum. It was not there. And so since I'm going to use your example, let me just use your example of, well, if this group has a problem, then take it up with them. So if you had a problem with one teacher saying something to your child, why pass a statewide ban on critical race theory when it didn't even exist? Why? If it's only your child or a couple of others, I'm using your setup. Why do a mass ban if there's only a handful of examples? Why?
This is not being taught to just a few individuals.
It's not being taught at all.
How do you know that, Mr. Martin?
Critical race theory is not in the curriculum in Florida.
Like I said, there is no book that they have. It's not enough.
Okay, so how many teachers are teaching it in Florida?
Two.
Okay,
so for instance,
how many teachers in Florida are teaching critical race theory off the books? How many?
I'm not sure.
Okay, but stop. You're not sure. So you went before the State Board of Education and supported a statewide ban on something that you could not quantify.
Yes, because anytime you try to segregate people by their race and say
that's one school.
Group of people
Keisha, that's one school. No, Keisha. So Keisha, wait a minute. Hold up. Let's stay right there. Clearly, so you've been talking about it. So wait a minute. You're now contradicting yourself.
No, I am.
You
not.
are. You just said if a group of people have a problem at a school, the administrators should only take it up with those people and not do a full assembly, right? That's what you said, right?
What I said was, if there is a specific issue, you were specifically talking about the Douglas Anderson case where there was a specific issue. I was speaking to that. As far as critical race theory, which is a separate issue,
but it's not being taught.
This is being widely, yes, it
and
is.
I asked you how widely? How widely? How widely?
I don't know.
Hold up, wait. Hold up.
Taught in my daughter's school.
Hold up. 1%. Hold up. You gave me one
school.
teacher. You gave me one teacher. So is it 5%? Are 5% of all teachers in Florida doing this? Do you know? Is it 10%?
So if I was to say, okay, well, there's only 2% of racist people in the United States Congress, are you going to be like, oh, well, we don't have to worry about that because it's only 2%?
No. I'm using your example.
I don't want racist teachings anywhere in American classrooms.
Here's the problem. You contradicted yourself. You supported a statewide ban on something that's not even being taught because your child recorded one teacher. You can't even answer. You literally cannot even answer how widespread is it. You said, I don't know. So your deal is, I don't, you sound like...
You're okay with some racism teachings, as long as it's not widespread.
No, here's the deal, Quisha. Okay. I'm going to use your example. Since you had a problem with one teacher, Quisha should have gone, oh, she hung up, y'all. See what happens? This is what happens, y'all. When did she hang up or did our system go out? She hung up. See, this is what happened, y'all, when you're busted. Okay, I got another guest coming up, but pull up my panel and tell my next guest to hold on, because I'm going to go to them. This is what happens when you're busted. This is what happens when you contradict your own argument. If Quisha had a problem with a teacher saying something in the classroom, she should have gone to the principal and then the school board. She supported the passage of a bill across the entire state because of 2 incidents. And then, Teresa, she couldn't answer, how widespread is this? How widespread is it? I don't know. She sounds like Republicans saying, yeah, we're going to pass new voting laws. We ain't got proof, but what the hell? We're just going to pass it.
Yeah, I mean, Quisha, is obviously, I looked at her social media account while you guys were discussing, because I was just so curious about, where some of her ideas of how she came across this topic. And part of it is, even in her, mini bio, and it goes to a point here, but the mini bio, it says rising star in the GOP, it's just mom, so, and then if you go on the timeline, it says, she was just on a program with Fox News. And so, again, I understand her profile. So I understand she is on message. But what I don't understand is the ignorance that we choose to have. I think education is a strong component here. I think most of it she was grasping, but then the contradiction of what she was saying also put her backwards in her original position. Because you can't agree with some portions of, I agree, I disagree with them separating blacks and whites, but I agree with them separating girls and boys. Like that, it just doesn't make sense, because what happened to the kids where, that they want to choose who they want to be? There's so many issues here, and I think that's really just surrounding her statement. But again, it also shows that the GOP is not...
Bring her on. Okay, all right. So apparently Quisha wants to get back on. So Quisha, come on back. But here's the deal, Ben. I stand by my position. You can't support a statewide ban, every school district, every classroom, because of one teacher and your daughter.
Yeah, I would like to ask Sister Quisha if we found more provable instances of racism than she found of provable instances of critical race theory being taught. Would she support the existence of critical race theory? I mean, since it's almost like an all or none proposition with her. Because then my second question would be, when's the last time she actually can say that she personally experienced racism in this country? Because I think she's vacillating back and forth between racism as an individualist construct, something that an individual is responsible for. And that's usually what conservatives do to make sure that this structural system is never held accountable by saying, oh, that's an individual racist problem. So I do want to kind of know if we found more examples of racism then she found of examples of critical race theory, would she go before the board and support critical race theory?
Hey, y'all, what's the status of Quisha? All right. So let me do this here, y'all. Okay, we gonna come back later in the show with part 2 with Quisha. Okay, so is my next? Okay, she's picking up now. Okay, because I still want to know again how. Okay, Quisha, you there?
I don't know what happened. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm still. So Ben Dixon, you had a question for Quisha. So Ben, go ahead and ask her the question, and let's see if she answers your question.
Yeah, no, it's a simple question. If we were to show you provable, objective examples of racism, more examples of racism than you found examples of critical race theory being taught, would you go before the Board of Education with the same energy and the same fervor and demand that we do something about racism, since you put that metric out there in terms of how many times you saw critical race theory being taught?
I would stand up against racism anytime I saw it. Absolutely. I'm not for racism, and I know that it exists. That's not what I'm saying. So yes, I would stand up against racism. That's what I'm doing now.
So you see more of a problem in the racism of your perceived racism of the 1619 Project, critical race theory, than any.
No, not 1619 Project, not 1619 Project.
But the conflation of the two.
Right. No, but so again,
because it's not the same.
I still just want to know, what is the percentage of, again, these examples you're using? How many are we talking about? 5, 20, 100, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000? This thing that you're describing that your daughter experienced, how rampant is it in Florida?
If it is any at all, I have a problem.
So
anybody is trying to tell children that they are in a perpetual state of oppression by a racial group, I don't care what the color is, that is racism.
So Quisha, should the state, Quisha, if there are 5 examples, Quisha, if there are 5 examples in the whole state, instead of the principal or the school board handling that, your answer is ban it across the state. Even though I don't know.
That would just like saying, well, there was only one hanging, so why do we need to ban hanging people, hanging black?
Okay, but see now, that makes no sense. That literally makes no sense. Okay. Because again though, I'm using your language. I'm using your language. You said that if there were a group of students or a group of people on a job who had an issue, that group of people should go to the superiors at that school to deal with it, you said, and not have a block-wide assembly. And what I'm saying to you is, if there are a group of parents who are objecting to a group of teachers, why not deal with those teachers and that principal, as opposed to say to the State Board of Education, oh, we're just gonna ban this thing across the state that actually doesn't even exist in the state? You do not see how you literally are contradicting yourself?
Okay, well, if you don't believe that it exists, and if you really don't think that it is a problem, at this point, I'm not sure.
No. See, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I'm gonna use a legal standard. In order for Roland to show, if I want to do a class action lawsuit, I have to show that there are multiple people who have been harmed. I have to actually show, I gotta have evidence. I gotta have data to say, oh, this isn't one case of Roland being harmed. No, here are multiple examples of African Americans who have been denied. What I'm saying to you is, you can't even provide that to me. You can't even tell me that 5,000 teachers or 7,000 teachers or 100 teachers, all you have is one teacher recorded with your daughter, and you stood up at a State Board of Education meeting and supported a statewide ban based upon one instance of your daughter. And I'm using your example. Why didn't you, versus have the state ban it, why didn't you go to the principal and the school district and say, I have a problem, let's deal with it here, as opposed to say, oh, let's do it. Because guess what? There are a bunch of schools and teachers who don't do what you do. So now you passed a law that impacts them, and they have nothing going wrong. Do you not see the contradiction?
If they're not teaching it, then they don't have to worry about it.
But you already said they're not teaching critical race theory in the district. You said they're teaching it unofficially.
That's right. And there's many.
And how many? How many teachers are unofficial? Keisha, answer my question. How many teachers?
If teachers are teaching
Keisha, answer my question, Keisha. How many teachers?
I don't know that answer.
Keisha.
I don't know because
you're admitting. So Keisha,
right?
you are admitting you do not know how many teachers in Florida are teaching unofficially critical race theory. All you know is one.
No, that is my personal experience.
Okay, how many then? Give me a number.
Parents.
How many?
There are many parents.
How many? No. I don't want many. Give me a number. What's many? 10, 30, 50, 100?
Parents who have seen things in their schools.
How many?
Hundreds.
How many?
Just in my universe.
How many?
Countless stories.
How many? No, I didn't ask for countless or many. How many?
I don't have a number.
So you have a number. How many school children in Florida?
You're right.
No,
Keisha. I don't have a number.
Keisha, how many school children in Florida?
In the Duval County School District?
No, in the whole state.
I'm not sure. Millions.
Okay.
Sure.
There are nearly 3 million students in public schools in Florida. And you supported a statewide ban that's not even impacting you, and you can't give a number. But you said that you object to an assembly being people of color and whites, and you said that if you have a problem, they should meet with only the affected people. Do you not see the contradiction in your own statement?
No, I do not, and here is why.
Okay.
Because you have individual isolated incidents where there is no the part that you're missing, Mr. Martin, is that even though it's not written in curriculum, this is your same argument that racism is everywhere. It's not written into law, but it's still everywhere, according to you.
No, actually, you're wrong. Because when I look at Georgia voter suppression law, when I look at Texas, and I look at the fact that the Texas voter ID law, 5 federal judges deemed it discriminatory against minorities and ruled it unconstitutional, I would say that's writing it into law. So you're wrong.
You're stating that.
No, what I'm stating is that 5 federal judges ruled the Texas voter ID law was unconstitutional and discriminated against minorities. So what I'm arguing is that law that was written, that was discriminatory as it was written. So yes, you're correct.
If racism is being taught in schools, even if it is unofficially taught, what is wrong with saying, okay, you know what? This type of teaching it's not going to be taught at all.
I would say this here. I would say it would be nonsensical. I would say it would be nonsense. I would say if there was one teacher who was at a school district who was teaching something that was racist, I would say deal with that teacher and not say, oh, we're going to say all teachers across the state. Here's the bottom, Keisha. You don't have the data. You can't even give a number, and you can't. And what I'm saying is it's nonsensical for conservatives in these states passing statewide bans on something that's not even being taught, and you don't even know how significant it is. So, and here's the whole piece. Critical race theory is not a part of the curriculum. It doesn't exist in Florida schools or Texas or Oklahoma or Arkansas. And for the people who say it is, you simply can't provide the data. So, I appreciate it. You give your final comment. Go ahead.
That said that racism, was not really a problem, and they didn't think that slavery should have been abolished either. So I'm guessing that's what it.
That's just totally nonsensical and makes no sense at all. And the bottom line is this here: you can't even provide an actual number. You use words like many and a lot. Those are the words that people use when they don't have the numbers to back them up. So that's why I'm simply saying you might want to be specific. You might want to have folks bring it in, but you don't have it. You don't. And so what you chose to do is to say, oh, I want to kill a fly, I'm going to fire a bazooka. And again, your own example at Douglas contradicts what you did before the State Board of Education. And so good luck for Moms for Liberty. I hope to spend some time in Florida. And yeah, I'll certainly be talking about the issue, how race does impact us in our society. And we're going to call out on every level. And we're also going to call out those politicians who support these racist voter suppression policies that we see existing, especially there in Florida as well. So we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Everything and nothing at the same time.
You're looking great.
Thank you.
What is it about all these black folks at Essence that's just so different and special?
And think what?
What's so special about and unique with all the black folks, the black love here at Essence?
That is fun. That is fun. That is all black love. That's what's significant and different about it. You know, it's pure.
And then, of course, you got all the sisters.
I'm sorry?
Then, of course, you got all the sisters as well.
Exactly. And brothers.
Oh, yeah. Things going well for you?
It's going real well. My guys are real good to me. Still being good to me. I'm just doing what I gotta do.
It's always good seeing you.
Well, thank you so much. I love this.
We gotta mix it up a little bit.
I love that. I feel you, baby.
If you ain't regular, you can't get regular pockets. All right, folks, each and every single day here on Roland Martin Unfiltered, we're going to feature that Essence Festival Coca-Cola throwback moment leading up to, of course, this year's 2021 virtual Essence Festival. Because of COVID, they're not having the big gathering in New Orleans, but they will be virtual. And so on June 26th and June 27th, two weekends, June 26th, June 27th, July 3rd, July 4th. Essence Festival will be virtual. You can simply go to their YouTube channel, the Facebook page, and go to essence.com to actually watch it. You're going to have the workshops in the daytimes beginning at 2 p.m. And then, of course, the concerts beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern every single night, going until 10 p.m. And so we look forward to sharing with you some of our throwback moments. That, of course, was Shaka Khan from the 2016 Essence Festival. So we've got some great stuff dipping into my archives to show you. And we're going to do that every single day right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. And we're going to be sharing photos on my social media. So go to Instagram, go to Facebook and Twitter, Snapchat. You'll be able to see those throwback moments as well. And so we're going to give you guys an email to share some of your Essence Festival throwback photos and video that we're going to be sharing with the audience. And we certainly look forward to doing that.